A warm welcome to all, and this is Treeleaf and Taigu speaking. I just finished the 10 oxiding pictures, and I would like now to jump into the deep blue sea of genjokoan. As you may all know, genjokoan is the major work of Dogen. Dogen is a monk that brought the Buddhist teachings to Japan a long time ago and made the sitting Zen so popular, Zazen. The Shobogenzo is a tapestry, a fabric of lectures and talks given to the students, lay and priests, in Koshoji near Kyoto. When Dogen came back, he made the choice to come to Kyoto, and then later on, due to political difficulties, he had to move to Fukui, where he created a much more monastic sort of setting, called it Heiheiji. The Shobogenzo has a reputation to be difficult, to be extremely difficult to read, understand, fathom. It can be seen as an expression of shikantaza. Shikantaza put down to words, often with contradictions, paradoxes. Dogen plays very happily with the very letters and words. And he also uses the very old teaching materials of koan. Now, today I would like to look into a very famous sentence. My very favorite maybe because in a nutshell it expresses the core of Dogen's teachings. And you find it in Genjokoan, the realized universe, one of the most important chapters of Shobogenzo, if not the most important chapter of Shobogenzo. When Dogen decided to string these chapters, these talks together, he decided to put this very chapter first. And this is a letter, originally a letter that he wrote to one of his students, I think, living in Kyushu. To study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be actualized by myriad things. When actualized by myriad things, your body and mind, as well as the bodies and minds of others, drop away. No trace of realization remains, and this no trace continues endlessly. Now it's pretty obvious that we are very busy all the time studying the outside. Our quest, our research, our investigation are turned outwardly. We're looking for jobs, we're looking for people, we want to travel. It's always out there. Now this statement says, To study the Buddha way is to study the self. At the back, just there is a gakejiku, and it was done by Sawaki Kodowa quite a long time ago, 50 years ago, 60 maybe. And it says exactly the same. It says you have to study yourself, to know yourself. So how do we do it? Of course we sit. We sit and put our hands in a mudra position on our lap. We allow the body to go up and open, and in that state, still state, we just accept things as they are. That's the way to study. Another way to put it is that we are constantly involved in a very emotional and busy flow. Thoughts, activities, we carry it away all the time. But the practice is about creating a gap in this constant agitation. Stillness arises. This stillness is something very, very active, very dynamic. And it also works into life. It rings into life. So we cannot actually say there is practice on one side, studying of the self, and then the self being active on another. The ringing of our practice continues beyond, much beyond. To study the self is to work, have a family, to study the self is also to study the real nature, the selfless nature of the whole world. Not just genjokoan, but all of Shobogenzo is expressing this extremely important truth, that the real self is mountains and rivers, woods, stars, moon. It is the streets, the garbage, the train you take, the car, the traffic, the lights, the people, supermarket. The real self is everywhere. So to study the self is not just to sit our bum on the cushion. It's to open to this reality which pervades everywhere. Now, in the next talk, we look deeply into this quote. Meanwhile, have a great life. Take care. And live well.